For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now, before we get going, I'm going to ask if you can stay off this raised up stage area here. This way nobody blocks this big display, and everybody can see okay, and it gives me a little bit of room to move around and do the whole hosting thing, right? Now, Quest Time is an event for Oculus Quest users, but all are welcome. So if you're on another device, feel free to hang out. Maybe you pick up some information if you're thinking about getting a Quest, or maybe you can learn something that's going to help somebody in Altspace that you meet on a Quest, because we have a very large Quest community, and more are arriving every day. Now, before we get going, also, if I can direct your attention to the menu wheel in your lower left, you're going to notice at the very top of that menu wheel is a microphone icon. When that microphone icon is clear, we can hear, what's happening in your environment, and we can hear you. And so we've gone ahead and we've turned that to red, and this means that you're muted. So if you have any background noise, if somebody comes into space and says, "Hey, are you still on that thing?" Feel free to answer them, because we're not going to hear any of that. If you have maybe a barking dog in the background, then you are not going to feel, you're not going to become face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during its quest time, right? Now, just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't express yourself. You're going to notice that there is a pink cheek smiley face in that menu wheel there, and when you click on it, your panel is going to open up in front of you, and it's going to give you a wide variety of options with which to express yourself. Now, if, for example, I share something really deep, something really powerful, and it touches you down deep and you feel it starting to build up, you can just let it out just like that. Maybe I got some backup dancers, right? And, they come out and we break into It's Quest Time, the musical, and you're all very impressed. You can throw up the applause that I live for, and I can take a moment to drink it all in like that because it feels good. I can ask you all a yes or no question, and you can say yes by smiling like this. You can say no by frowning like this. Maybe I say something funny and you want to show me that you're laughing. You can use a silly face emoji to indicate that. And then there's this. This is not how you ask a question. This is how you let me know that there's a problem. Maybe something's going on, like I'm waving my hands around and it looks like I'm talking, but you guys aren't hearing anything. Or maybe this display's suddenly burst into flames. That can happen sometimes because our moderators have a sense of humor. A couple of weeks ago, we had some bubbles coming up out of the rug too. So sometimes the moderators can do some special effects and, they play jokes and stuff like that. But if you need to let me know that there's a problem, you just raise your hand up like that. If I see one, I'm going to keep on going. But if I see five going up at once, I know there's a problem that I'm going to need to address. Okay. Now, you also, it's to provide me feedback, and it also lets me know, lets the people around you know what you're experiencing. So if the person next to you is going like this, that means they find it a bit funny, right? You may not agree. You might be like, "That's not funny at all. I'm going to go stand over here," and you can totally do that because this is VR. All right, now let's get going here. Now, just while you got these emoji panels open, let me get an idea how to set out here. So let me just, how many of you are on a Quest right now? Let me see some hearts if you're on a Quest. Show me some love for the Quest. Anybody on a Quest right now? Anybody? Any Quest users in the audience? All right, that's a few. All right, cool, good. How many of you are new Quest users, like you recently started out on a new? Show me some smiles if you're a new Quest user. Your hand up there. That's 2 new Quest users. How many of you are new to Altspace? Any new Altspace users today? Oh, wow. Okay, welcome to Altspace. Well, that's a lot of you, a lot of new users. Cool. Well, when I first started when I was waiting for my Quest to arrive, I was really looking forward to it because I've done an Oculus Go for a long time. And as a lot of you know, the Oculus Go has a one-handed controller. And I was really looking forward to getting that second hand, right? Because, well, I grew up in Brooklyn and I'm used to talking with my hands a lot, right? And on the Oculus Go, I felt like I wasn't expressing myself as fully as I could because I'd be talking in Altspace and all anybody saw was my hand going like this. So I was really looking forward to being able to do things like this, right? And, but when my Quest arrived, I took a look at the controls and I'm like, you know what? All right, you know what? My slides just stopped working. It's weird. Okay, hang on. Oh, there we go. No, they're jumping all over the place. What's going on? Okay, all right. Everybody see the controllers up behind me? Because my slide just went all over the place. Let's see. All right, good. All right, cool. Very good. Thank you. But I took a look at this and I'm like, you know what? Those are a lot of buttons. There's a lot of buttons to keep track of, right? And you do get used to it very quickly, but in the beginning, it can be a lot, right? And so, I like to go over some of them now, just by and if you're already on, if you're here today, you know the basics. I mean, the left thumbstick's going to move you around like this. The right thumbstick's going to turn you around like this. And when you combine them, you can get these big, elaborate circles that make my presentations so much more dramatic. If everybody could do this, go into some large circles, because when I look out in the audience and I see everybody doing this, it looks like you're all ballroom dancing. Let me have a look at this. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, nice. I always say I wish you guys could see what I see, and now you can because we got a YouTube channel, right? And if you want, you can see Raven Eye floating up in the sky up there, or I don't know if it's really sky, floating in the air above you all. That's our YouTube channel. So if you want to wave out to YouTube, you totally can. We got Deadster94 right here. We got Frank right here. We got Mason C in the pink right here. We got Beandog. I don't know if you can see it on camera. We got Luna Plays. You got Adric 1932, you got Hummingbird here, we got a nice crowd. We got Curtis over here. So hey YouTube, how's it going? Come on into Altspace. It's nice in here. It's really great. Come on in. All right, so let's see what do we got here. Now, a couple of these, now again, if you're already familiar with the Quest controls, don't worry about it. We're gonna do some movement exercises that can be fun when we get everybody skilled up, right? Now, the first things you need to be concerned about is on your right and left controller, you have these grip buttons, right? And these grip buttons, they're going to help you interact with your environment, right? So it's going to help you grab, fireworks. It's going to help you grab, sparklers in a campfire, those beanbag toss things they have there. And if you're in the world's beta program, it's going to enable you to interact with the world editor by grabbing items. When you grab them, it's going to change the behavior of your right thumbstick, right? So no longer will your right thumbstick turn you around anymore. Or, what's going to happen is if you're holding an object in the world editor and you move your thumbstick from left to right, the size or scale of the object is going to change its size, and you may not be prepared for that. You may grab this laser pointer here and go to turn, to the right like that, but instead of turning right, what's going to happen is that laser pointer is going to get huge, right? So you got to be prepared for that. Now, also, if you move your thumbstick forward or back by holding an object in World Editor, it's going to push that object away from you, or it's going to pull it closer to you. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're working with the World Editor. All right. Also, now while these are a lot of buttons, keep in mind that some of them do the same thing, right? This select button here and this right trigger and this left select button, if you have your left pointer enabled, what that'll do is they all do the same thing. If you hold down your right trigger right now and move it through the crowd, what you're going to see is everyone's name tag appear above their head. And that's how I knew everybody's name so quickly. That's how I know that's 94. That's how I know that's Mason C. That's how I know that's Curtis right over there. All right. So you just move your hand through the audience like that, and you'll see the name tags just appear above everybody's head. Okay, now let's see what else we got here. If you're having a room scale experience, you're going to notice that, occasionally what can happen is you can walk out past your main menu, like the collection of circles here. And for some reason, I don't know why, but whenever you do this, somebody's always going to ask you to open your main menu up, right? And when you do, you're going to look around, and go, where is this thing? Where did it go? And you're looking around for it, and it's always behind you. And that can get pretty frustrating. On the Quest, you have to remember that your main menu is in your hand at all times. Some handy information. On your left control, you've got this flat button down toward the bottom there. That's your main menu button. And anytime you need to open your main menu, you can just kind of flick your wrist out like that and press the button, and now my menu's open. Flick it again, my menu is closed. You don't have to flick your wrist like that. I just find, stylistically, I don't know, it's just kind of fancy, right? But it's pretty cool. So you can open and close that menu anytime you want just by pressing that button. All right, now another thing is on the Quest, you need to worry about your vertical height. All right, you're going to notice that there are going to be times in Altspace where you feel too tall or too short, and anytime that happens, you can quickly adjust your height by pressing down on your left thumbstick. Like you see, you got Deadster in the ground right here, right? Deadster, go ahead and press on that left thumbstick. Show everybody what happens. All right, press on that left thumbstick. Wait, no, you just stood up. That's not how it works. You got to press on the right. There we go. Try it again. Press on that left thumbstick. Show everybody what happens. Just press down on it. No? Okay, boom. Just like that. See? And that's called recentering. So if your vertical height changes suddenly, if you find yourself too tall or too short, all you have to do is press down on that left thumbstick, and that'll take care of that. Now, also, you have, I'll do my pointer here. Okay. Oh, didn't have it. That's not good. All right, yeah. All right, so another thing you need to be concerned about is this left trigger button here, right? When you press this left trigger button, if you're walking or flying, it's going to cause you to speed up. So if I'm walking along and I squeeze down on my trigger button, I'm going to speed up, and I can run in the audience, and I can do some laps, and maybe we get a big circle going, right? Maybe we can make a tornado, maybe we can make a hurricane, maybe we can make it rain. All right, let's see here. We can just go in here and circle like that. If you get dizzy doing this, then don't do that thing, of course. You don't want to, be feeling sick. I don't want someone coming to the event saying, you know what, it was a cool event, man, but he made me sick. Not cool. Look, we got bubbles in the rug. Maybe I shouldn't have watched that before you guys came. Yeah, moderators do have a sense of humor, so they will be doing special effects from time to time. All right. I think the rain effect would have been cooler, because we were going for a hurricane. We weren't going for in cycle. Well, this isn't a laundromat. This is my event. Fury, knock it off. All right, cool. All right, so what we have here going now is, let's see what else we have. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is important. You've got on both controllers, you've got a teleport button. And this is pretty cool. If you're in a line dash teleport transition, yeah, that's right, transition. It's going to feel like you're ziplining, like you're flinging yourself across the room. If you could join me along this wall here, everybody line up against this wall. And if you hold down on your right teleport button and you aim at the floor, you're going to see your teleport target appear on the floor. And if you aim it across the room and you suddenly let go of that button, boom, you're gonna get thrown right across the room at speed. It's a lot of fun. Now let's teleport on over to me here, and we'll take your left controller and press down and hold your left teleport button and aim at the floor across the room. And as soon as you let go, boom, right across the room. Another thing you can do is you can hold down both teleport buttons at once, make an X on the floor, and as soon as you let go, zigzag. You can do like this little zigzag transition like that. Another thing you can do is if you face the stage, right, and you start going backwards, and if you hold down your accelerator trigger on your left controller and aim at the floor, you can do the Altspace moonwalk. Check it out like this, right? I hope I'm not doing a copyright violation, but it feels cool. It's good. It's cool to do this. Try it. All right. So now another thing I learned a couple of weeks ago, because you never really stop learning this stuff. What happened was I was standing on the stage and the crowd was like, I was right down here on the ground like this, right near the stage. And the crowd was like coming in behind me and I had to get up on the stage in a hurry. And on a reflex, I did this. I didn't even know you could. I put my hand behind my head like this and I teleported backwards up onto the stage like that. Right? Yeah, there you go. Oh, I just saw Dexter do it. That's the first time I've seen anyone else do it. That looked cool. Do that again. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. All right. So, now while these buttons are a lot to take in, you do get used to them. Like I went back when the Universe was held in a large world, right? I went up to the edge of the world after the event was over, exploring it. And I got a little too close to the edge and all of a sudden I fell, right? And as I'm falling, I look over and I see there's this cliff off to the side and I aim my teleporter target right there. And as soon as I let go, boom, I was on that cliff and I was safe. I saved myself from respawning because it's not like you can actually get hurt in Altspace, right? But you know what? In that moment, I knew I was finally getting used to the controls. Because listen, you're always going to feel the plastic in your hands. But there's going to come a moment, all right? And remember me saying this, there's going to come a moment where these actually become your hands. You're not going to think about, the gestures that you make. Like if I go, hey, everybody, look out that window, right? I'm not thinking about how I do that. I just do it. Like right now, I'm holding down my middle finger. It's actually, you put more effort into trying to explain it than just doing it. If you press down the middle finger on your grip button, you'll see that I'm pointing like this. Right? And I could do it on my left controller too. Now I'm pointing with this hand, right? And now I can give everybody a Brooklyn hello. Everybody give me a Brooklyn hello. I like that. Let me see it. All right, cool. You can put these together too, and you can form the Altspace logo, and you can hold it up like that, right? Give me some, Altspace love, just like that. That's very cool. You can twist them together like this, right? And make a picture, make this moment last forever. If you squeeze your trigger button, you can kind of make the shutter. Wouldn't it be cool if you could take screenshots like this just by snapping the finger like that? You'd be like, snap, that's a screenshot. Snap, that's a screenshot. Got you right there. All right. Now, another thing you can do here is if you're holding down your trigger button, you got two thumbs up, right? Let me know I'm doing a good job. Maybe I'm not. You can go like that. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you haven't made up your mind yet. Go like that. I saw somebody go like this a couple weeks ago. That was pretty cool. You can touch your thumbs to the buttons or the thumbstick, and without pushing down, you're going to find that your thumbs just go down, right? Just by touching them. All right, so that's pretty touch sensitive like that. And you can combine this into kind of a dance move, right? Kind of give me like that. I think it looks cool. I'm told it doesn't look as cool as as it feels. But this is kind of how I do it. See me at the Universe going like this. There you go. I think Dexter's got some moves. Look at that. He's moving around. Look at that. He's got it. All right. And these body language things that happen, listen, if you see somebody doing something cool, the best way to pick it up is by mirroring them. One of the quest times we had a few people come up to the stage and they were going like this, right? Because our event team name is the Ravenhall, right? And so they came up and they were going like this. And I didn't realize what they were doing at first. Like they were making these birds with these hands like this. And I thought it was cool. So I copied it and I started doing it back. And that's the best way to pick this stuff up. If you see somebody doing something you like, just mirror them. And then those moves will become your own. And then you'll become more powerful than anything you can possibly imagine. All right, well, maybe not, but hey, it's nice to dream, right? All right, so let's see, what else do we have here? We went over that. Okay, now there's another button you need to be concerned with here, and that is, I'm not forgetting anything. All right, yeah. Don't push the snap, because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to feel it down deep. Not going to like it, right? But if you were to press this bottom right button, this flat button on your right controller, what that's going to do, you got to think of that as like an eject button. I'm not sure how you leave Altspace, because some people actually do it through the main menu, but this is the best route out of Altspace. When you press that bottom button, and you'll have you take back the Oculus main menu, and there you can press the exit button, and the app will close. Right, and now somebody comes into your space and say, hey, dinner's ready. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm out. And I press that button and I'm out of Altspace. It's the best way out. And it's important to know how to leave quickly, because sometimes in Altspace, like, listen, if you turn your head, right, and the whole world moves with you, right, that can make you feel kind of sick, can make you feel kind of dizzy. And so this button is like the best thing to press when things go wrong, all right? And this will take you right back to the Oculus main menu. You press quit, and then you can restart the app. And this is going to take care of most of the problems that you're going to have in Altspace. Very occasionally, what can happen is that you're gonna is pressing that button won't work when your device freezes. Like, let's say that I look up suddenly and I see there's a black edge to the screen and there's nothing but a black void above me. And I look to my left, to my right, and I look down and I'm surrounded by this black void, and all my friends on the screen are all frozen like this, and it's all very dramatic and everything's frozen. right? So I press that flat button and nothing's happening, right? You're going to need to know how to restart your device. Now, in the beginning, I used to restart my device by taking it off. And I would notice that, like, when you have it plugged in, sometimes if your headset's not in a charge cycle, the device won't light up. And it takes so long to reset the thing that you can get the feeling like your device is broken. Then I found it pays to restart your device while it's still on your head. And the way you do this is you take your index finger and you swipe it on the side of your device, right? And you're going to feel that raised up button there. And then what you do is take your index finger and you put it on the other side of the headset and you squeeze them together, right? And when you do this, if you can even, like, look down like you're concentrating. And after about 4 seconds, you're going to get plunged into the darkness because you concentrated so hard that your avatar disappeared. Right after about 10 seconds, you're going to start wondering, why did Oculus make it take so long to restart your device? I don't know. After about 15 seconds, you start thinking about friends you haven't seen in a while, but you don't let go of that button. You just keep on going. And then you're sitting there and you're waiting. And after about 20 seconds, you start thinking about life, the big questions. And then all of a sudden, out of the darkness, you see the Oculus logo emerge. It starts to pulse. And when it starts to pulse, take your hands away like that. Your device will restart as normal. And then you can restart the app and come in. And this is going to take care of all the problems you could ever have with your device, not just in Altspace, but that's resetting usually fixes everything. Very rarely there will be times when it's more serious. Like one time I come out of Altspace, and what I saw was there was this notice that said Oculus Home is closing, and there was a blue button that said OK. It was my only choice. So I said, OK. I pressed OK. And then all of a sudden the device just said loading. And I'm like, OK. So I waited, and about a few minutes go by, and it still said loading. So I restarted my device, deep concentration pose. And what happened was it restarted up, and my Oculus Home screen, it just said loading. And so I asked Google about it. I was like, Google, I'm having a problem. And Google said, well, a lot of people have this problem. And what you need to do is a factory reset. Now, when you do a factory reset, bear in mind, if you have any photos that are saved on your device, you lose those. You're going to have to reinstall all your apps again. You won't have to pay for them again, but you will have to reinstall them. And you're going to lose the settings in most of your apps. Like you might even lose your Beat Saber score. So please understand, this is very serious, and you only do this as a matter of last resort. But it pays to know it. Okay, now, if you're here on a Quest, you're already familiar with your Guardian system, but you can use your Guardian system to your advantage in Altspace. I mean, you've done the tour, right? You danced with the robot, you played with the blimp. It was a good time, right? And I love that orientation program they have. And, well, you come in, and you can use, like, let's say that you get dizzy in VR a lot. Like, let's say if you're a new VR user and you get dizzy. One thing that you can do is look at your hand if you get feeling dizzy, and take a good look at that hand, right? And as you focus on it, you're going to find that the dizziness starts to pass, and then you can take the hand away and slowly take in the world around you. But you can also use your Guardian system to do this too. Now, when you play with your Guardian, keep in mind, like I've seen Altspace, somebody be walking along and they look if you're having a good day, and all of a sudden they go boom, just like that, right? They hit a wall, right? And so you want to be careful if you mess with your Guardian system. You don't want to injure yourself. You don't want to damage your device or anything like that. So, but what you can do is if you lead with your hands, right? I find it helps, especially if you're new to VR. If you go up to the edge of your Guardian with it, right? And you're going to see that grid appear in the air, right, in front of you. Now, when that happens, you can hold on to it and you can still move your thumbsticks. So as you're moving your thumbsticks, it's like you can move that grid around while you're in VR. And what you can do, right, so let's say I'm up against my real world wall right now and I'm moving my avatar around, but my real world self is sitting still here. And I go up and I line up this display with that real world wall, right? Now I have a frame of reference. I have an anchor to the real world. So if the worst should happen, I should suddenly fall off the stage. Oh no, I'm in the audience, right? And you guys start messing with me, right? Start making me dizzy, start like sticking your hands on my face, and oh no, the audience is hostile. Go ahead, bring it, give me your worst. Let me see what you got. All right, so I'm staring at the screen here, I'm staring at the display, and like, are you trying to block my vision? But really, that is a very big screen. I can still see it. You have gaps in your fingers, and I can totally take it in. You'll notice I'm not even breaking any sentences. I'm not losing my place at all, and it's not even throwing me off, not even a little, right? And the reason that is because I've got this connection to the real world. And you don't have to use something big like that. You can use the edge of the stage here, maybe line this up with a table or a desk that's in your real world environment. And this is going to provide an anchor for you to the real world, and that's going to really help if you're getting dizzy in the VR. That's how you use your Guardian system to your advantage. Another thing that you can do is you can switch between a room scale and a stationary experience pretty effortlessly in Altspace. You're going to notice that, for example, like, let's say I've been up here, this is my second event today, right? I'm tired. I've been hosting all day, every day, and it's starting to wear on me. I really need to sit down. What I can do is I can go to the edge of my Guardian, right? And make sure I've got enough room to, move. So I move my hands through it, make sure I got enough room for my head. And as soon as I move my head through it, the pass-through camera goes off and I can see the real world. I can see I got my coffee right here, take a sip of that because it's good stuff, right? And then I notice I got my chair over there, my hummingbird. So I just step out there and now I'm looking at the real world and I'm like going into my chair. And I sit down in my chair here and I got that blue button to switch to a stationary experience. I press in that blue button and I find that I'm still in VR. Not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. All right. So you can make that transition. It works in the other direction too. There was one time I was moderating an event and I felt like getting up and walking around. It was a big deal for me. So I get up and I figured I'm going to get up. I'm going to stand in my Guardian. But what can happen is sometimes your Quest is going to lose your Guardian. And that's normally not a big deal. You just repaint the boundary. But there was 2 minutes left in the event. And, I was worried about not being able to get back in. So, I'm drawing out my boundary here. I'm rushing really quick, going, oh, I got to paint this thing really quick. Man, why of all days did I had to pick time to moderate for an admin today? And all of a sudden, as soon as I close that loop, the grid comes up out of the ground, right? And when it does, not only was I still in VR, but I was still in Altspace. I've never left. All anybody sees is you go like this. It's like you're having an out-of-avatar experience, right? I do this bit where I pause there real dramatically, and one time I actually lost my connection, and the audience is looking, they're all staring, and I'm like, I'm up there, and I'm just like frozen, right? And they're like, wow, he's really invested. Wow, he's really dedicated. Look at him. He's got such range, right? And he's looking, and I'm up there, and then I suddenly disappeared. It was kind of funny. I was back in just a minute anyway, but it was, it happened like right there. I was like, and suddenly, like that, and everyone's like, oh wow. He's really selling this bit. All right, so yeah, that can happen, but you can transition back and forth between a room scale to a seated experience pretty effortlessly, and you never have to leave Altspace at all. And all anybody will ever see is your avatar just frozen for a moment. And the only thing that you have to be mindful of is sometimes if you're switching to a stationary experience and you sit down, your avatar, when you get back in, will be down on the ground like this, and you'll suddenly notice, like, why is everybody taller than me? What's going on with that? And all you have to do is press down on that left thumbstick, and you'll pop right back up. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, now let's see what else we have here. The great thing about the Quest is the Quest just works. There are no real issues with it, but that doesn't mean it can't work better. There's a variety of accessories that can help improve the experience. Like the earbuds, they dangle down from the side. So I don't know what I look like when I'm in VR, but I like to think when I'm wearing these things, I look fancy, right? And the first time I got them, I was pretty happy with the sound on the Quest because there's no feedback. It's a rich sound, full experience. So I got the earbuds and I wasn't expecting much, but I figured, maybe it wouldn't disturb people in my environment. And I'd be able to, go in and listen, right? So I got these things and I put them in, and I went to the campfire to test them out. And when I went to the campfire, did you guys notice there's a breeze in the campfire? All right, nobody told me this. I went over to the railing there and I heard the water rushing by, and I'm like, wow. There is a lot of ambient sound in Altspace that can make the experience way more immersive, and that can make you feel like you're more present, make more like you're here, which is great. Now, another thing is, listen, I hear this a lot. All right, I even saw this on Discord today, where people say that the Quest is uncomfortable. Right? They say it's top heavy in the front, and they say it's an uncomfortable device, and a lot of people think this, and that's because Oculus does not advertise enough that there's a breaking in period. All right. So when you first get your Quest, if you find it so comfortable, I got a sore on my head when I first started using my Quest. Right. What happens is the oils in your face will actually soften the insert material and make it more comfortable over time, and it'll actually change the balance once it's broken in. Now, a lot of people, when they first get it, they think this is very uncomfortable, and they'll find, I'm going to get an external battery pack. I'm going to get a counterweight. I'm going to get all these accessories, and you can, but wait a couple of weeks first, because if you put them on too early and then your device breaks in, what's going to happen is in a couple of weeks, the balance is going to get thrown off again, and then you're going to be one of those people who thinks that the Quest is uncomfortable, and it's not, right? You will hit a point once it's broken in where you don't feel it on your face anymore. Right? These are just become your eyes, just like these become your hands, right? And you're just here, present with all of us, right? So if after a couple of weeks, once it's broken in, if you find it still uncomfortable, that's the time to try one of these, like these face inserts from VR Cover that we have up here. You also have counterbalance weights. You also have external battery. There's a lot of accessories for the Quest that can make the experience better if you need to, but make sure you go through that breaking in period first, okay? Also, you have prescription inserts. If you wear glasses for your headset, you can prevent your glasses from being scratched or damaging your headset. Also, prevent your headset from being damaged. You have this travel case here. The box that the Quest comes in is a great place to store it. You want to keep it out of sunlight and stuff like that, but if you are going to be moving around a lot, one of these travel cases can be great. If you want to try any of these products, we've made them super easy to find. All you do is go to altvr.com, and when you get there in the upper left, you're going to see where it says channels. If you click on that, you'll be taken to all these event pages for Altspace. And you're going to find toward the bottom of the page, you have Ravenhole events, like it says in the sound booth up there. And if you click on that, you get taken to our event page. And on our event page, we have links to all these products if you want to try any of them out. We also have a join Discord button if you want to help us put on events like this. We also have the most important button on the internet, the subscribe button. And when you press this, it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content. So if you enjoyed yourself today, pressing that's a great way to say thank you. All right, and we would appreciate it. It always makes we don't get paid to do this, so it always feels good when that number goes up. All right, we will be taking your questions now. It's the hand going up there, so I guess you're right on time. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions and comments and things like that. All right, so you're going to see a raise hand button appear in your lower right as if by magic. And if you have any questions or comments, just press that raise hand button. I'll get you on the list. And while we wait for that to fill up, if you'd like to follow us on Twitter, you can at __ Uncanny Valley. And now I get to feel like a radio host by calling on your names. I saw a number, but it just disappeared. Okay, there's nobody on the list here. That's weird. No questions, no comments, no nothing. All right, oh wait, here we go. We got Jake. All right, Jake, you're on the air. There we go. I love saying that. Where are you, Jake? There you go. What's going on, Jake?
Would you consider the Oculus Go better than the Quest, and would you consider it being worth your time and money to buy the Quest?
Okay, well, I get this question a lot about which device is the best device, right? And when I first actually got my Quest, I was still putting on my Go Time event, and I felt weird about showing up on the Quest. And then I realized that people cared more about the information. Right. While I tried it out, and then people had, a bunch of questions about what it was like, and I was telling them about the experience. My honest opinion, all right, is that every device has its strengths and weaknesses. Some things you can do on the go that you can't do on the Quest, I genuinely miss. All right. There's some things that you can do on the Quest that you can't do on other devices. Every single device is going to have its strengths and its weaknesses, and you got to decide, do your due diligence and research and decide what's going to work best for you. All right. Like maybe I move around a lot, so I don't want to be tethered to a computer. So maybe a Rift isn't for me. Right. What I like about the Quest is that you have the option to connect to a computer via the link cable. All right. The link cable is really great. And it's like having two headsets in one. Right. It's like having a Rift S, and it's also like having a Quest. So you have both of them together, and you can use them, and the apps are kind of interchangeable, but it really is like two different devices. The first time I hooked up the Quest cable to the computer, this is actually a funny story. I come into Altspace on it, check it out, to see what it's like. And the graphics were amazing. I was very happy with it. And then I looked down at my hands, and my hands didn't look right. My hands were like, they were all dark and black, and I looked like I was a robot. And I was like, what's going on? It turns out, right, the computer that we use to film our events, Raven and I up there, I was in Raven's body, and it completely creeped me out. I don't do that anymore, right? But yeah, so that was, that's what happens. I looked down and I was like, wait a minute. So it actually logged me in with that account because, and like I said, in that moment, I realized it's like having two different devices. All right. So, I do love the Quest, but I also love the Go. I feel about the Go the way most people feel about the first car, because if I started out on the Quest, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have stayed. Right. I think that the Go handles vertical movement a lot better because you can't actually move vertically. So if you get dizzy in VR, and I did in the beginning, all right, that helped me adjust at my own pace. So really, is it worth the money? Listen, if you have a good time and you have a rewarding experience on a device, then yeah, it was worth the money. All right. If you have an awful time and you come in and I go in there and it makes me sick, then it's not worth the money. All right, let's see who else we have here. We have Deadster. What's going on, Deadster? You're on the air. There we go.
So that Quest cable you're talking about, how much is it?
How much is what now? The what?
That link cable you're talking about connected to the TV?
The link cable, listen, there's two ways you can go with the link cable. When they first came out, the beta cables were about $12 or $14 each, right? And they're not very long. Now, the Oculus Link cable, the official one, that's like $80 US. And that, it's very long, and it actually does make the graphics better, but not by a lot. So if you're on like a budget and you want to save a little money, you can get one of the shorter cables for cheaper, and it'll work almost as well. It just won't be as long, and it won't, and the video quality won't be as good, but it's a very slight difference. I mean, you do notice it, but it's not a severe difference. So that's but it is definitely worth trying out. Okay, I don't see anybody else on my list, but if I didn't call on you, don't feel bad. We will be taking questions at the Ravenhill Flight Academy. At the end of our events, we take you flying. But listen, if you've learned anything here at all today, please share it with everyone you come in contact with. If you're standing in the campfire and there's somebody stuck in the ground like this, and you walk over and you're like, hey, what's wrong, little buddy? And they look up at you and they go, I'm on a Quest and I'm stuck in the ground. Right? Just tell them to press down on their left thumbstick. They'll pop up and they'll feel better. You'll feel better because you help somebody. And that's how we help keep this thing going. Oh, it's raining. Now it's raining. Now at the end? Seriously, Fury? Really? This would have been a lot more effective during the whole hurricane bit, I think. Wow, that's like a neat effect. I haven't seen this one. This is pretty new. That looks real. Except that we're indoors, man, which is kind of unnatural. Make it stop. It's scary. Top your sorcery. All right. What we are going to be doing now is we're going to press this red button here, this red shiny button that we do at the end of our events. And what you're going to see is the Ravenhill Talon hovercraft flyby. You can actually fly these ships at the Ravenhill Flight Academy. Wow, that rain is really distracting. Make it stop. I'm feeling cold. That is like a really convincing effect, though. It really does look like rain. That's really cool. All right. Seriously, make it stop. All right. So when we press this button, the Ravenhill Talon hovercraft is going to fly by, and It's going to go up over the trees. It's going to land in the yard, and it's going to take us out to the flight academy where I can teach you to fly. If you don't know how, if you want to try flying these hovercrafts, you can. And if you want to maybe, ask any questions like that, you can do that there. So I'm going to press this button here. I'm going to get everybody unmuted first in case anybody does the whole ooh, ah thing. If you've ever seen the effect before, okay, everybody's unmuted. We talk freely, all that kind of stuff. And now I'm going to push this button here. Ready? There we go.
Raven Hall Talon aircraft en route
look
to
out the
your
window.
position.
There you go. There it goes. Look at that go. All right, cool. Now we're going to point it out in the backyard. Yeah, oh, I'm glad you like it. Cool. So we're going to fly out. We'll walk out rather, and we're going to go flying. So let's go, everybody. Thank you for coming today. It's been a great audience. We're going to be touching down in the backyard here, and we're going to head on out. All right, here it comes. Landing now. I'm going to pop the portal out, and we're going to take this to the flight academy. Here it goes. Very nice.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Raven Hall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'll see you next time.